Hello everyone, my name is Droogie Forever, and today we are back with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe in glorious 1440p, because I'm recording in 1440p now for as many things as I can. I'm so excited to get back into this. Such a good game.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Alright, so what happens if I do the input, the one that just said, yeah, this. Input received. Should I hit it again? No, you can't hit it again. Okay, so what now? So that was one. What's the second one?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
What do I do? It's got to be a certain number, right? There's got to be certain ones you're supposed to hit first or something. 3. I hit that one first. 4. No, that's... I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with these. I don't know how to make sense of it. I don't remember the deal with the computers. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Okay. Oh! New content! What?
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Alright, cool. Let's do it. More new content. I'm excited. Let's do it. New content. That's that new. New. That new. New. Alright, here we go in the elevator.
I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable.
Have you?
And about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be.
Okay.
The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy.
Right.
So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Nice. No way. The end is never the end again.
Far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions. Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This...
I got a tab out. I needed to take a... I know you can do screenshots through Steam, but I don't like doing it. I'm taking a screenshot of this real quick. Stanley Parable 2. I don't like taking screenshots through Steam.
Have
anyway,
truly been asking for.
it is. So yeah, definitely. Nice. Taste the sequel, new and tasty. New and tasty. That's an Oddworld reference. I love
Calling
it.
it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
They're back, the 2 doors. Keep on trucking. 1 + 1 is 2 - 1 is 1 + 1 is 2 - 1 is 1 + 1 is 2 - 1. I like that. Every pause button is a Roman numeral. More TSP. Better TSP. Win-win. TSP2 logo ideas. Oh man, this is great. I love this game.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it.
My scrum's at
I
9
figure
o'clock.
that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Sequels are good. Batman Arkham Asylum 2. It's Arkham City. Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar. Oh man, this is great. I love their sense of humor is just perfect. This way to the show floor, valued investors. New features. New content. There's a bus. I love it. Oh my god, I love this. Alright, here, I'll tell you what, I'll take a screenshot in the game. How do I do that? I don't remember. F12 while in game to take screenshots. Alright, F12. There we go, we took a screenshot.
Here
Okay.
we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Hear your name in the game. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Enjoy the new features. Please, no screenshots. A whole new office. Look at it. Red is the new orange. The new updated ray traced, more of the same but in a good way sequel to the button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Jump circle, infinite hole. Reassurance bucket. Okay. We gotta do the button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. That's first. We might have to come back here if it locks us in.
2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Okay. Well, which name are you going to use? Because I have two names.
Jim.
I'm not Jim.
I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim.
Only says the
Of course,
name
in the final
Jim.
game, this button
Oh
will say
my
your
God.
name,
I
whatever
love
name
that.
is. Here, let's have you role play
Oh
as Jim
my
to
God.
really simulate the full
Role play
experience of
as
this
Jim.
feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a
What
deep
the
breath,
fuck? I
clear
love
your
this
mind,
game.
forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
My name's Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
Jim Dandy.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time.
It does.
If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
I agree.
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
I just love it. It has one name. It's so perfect. That is great. Jim. Right now it only
I suppose
says
I could
Jim.
allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Epilogue.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Alright, let's see what's up here. Infinite hole. Free achievement. Free achievement. Let's see. Oh, the jump circle. I remember
You
this.
know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's oh wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
So if you already did your jumps, it doesn't let you. Oh my god, this game is perfect. Oh shit. What the fuck? This game. Oh man. I can't breathe. Free achievement. What the fuck does that mean? Pull the lever, receive your new achievement. No more steps, it just works.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever and when
Oh,
you do
God.
it, the achievement will be given to you.
You know
It's
it's
as
not
simple
going
as
to.
that.
No, it's not.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
It's just, it's broken. That's so great. It doesn't do anything. Oh man, my face hurts from laughing at this game. This is the perfect game. Why is this so damn good, man? They're so good at this.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen?
Oh man, my face hurts. All right, I'm not used to laughing this much. I'm not usually in this good of a mood.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
One out of 6. And that's it. That's great.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
All right, infinite hole. Let's try that. Wait, what is this?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy
Nice.
12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Nice. That's perfect. Love it.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
344. What's that all about? I can't get in to see the merch. Reassurance bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they?
Sure.
All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Okay. I would take my bucket now.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game?
Probably.
That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Alright. I think we went most of the places over there. We need to do the infinite hole, I think. It just keeps going.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Let's do it. Alright, there's the opening.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great! Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
What if you don't push the button? What if I just jump in again?
Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now.
We're back
Did
in the
you
hole
really
now.
need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I've prepared for you. I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley.
There's
I'll
an
be
end.
honest with you, I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom.
That's
Yes, I know,
fantastic.
I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that
Mostly
works for you,
harmless.
then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Alright, now if I leave it for a minute, do we think anything will happen? I'm just sitting here with my bucket. Just got my bucket in the hole. In the hole with my bucket. Click, 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 click. Alright, fine, I'll teleport. Alright, we went through the mostly infinite hole. Alright, so what now? Pretty sure I've been everywhere, right? Oh no, I never went up the stairs. Mostly infinite hole. What the hell? Settings world record. Oh. Wait. Settings world champion. What does that mean? Is that where... I saw a collectible for that. For the settings world champion. Or something. You had to change all the settings. But I didn't do it. I wonder if I should do that. Because I don't know where else to go. We got the merch and stuff, and we've been everywhere. Guess we go up here. I'll get the settings champion thing another time.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
That's pretty cool.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh my god, we're playing the Stanley Parable 2. What the fuck? Take a screenshot of this. Dude, we've been in new content
of a man named Stanley.
from halfway through my first video to now.
Stanley
So like an
worked for a
hour
company in
straight
a big
now.
building
I've been
where
in
he
new
was
content.
Employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor at his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what Employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Whoa, for the longest time. Look, it's got
All
the
of his coworkers
balloons.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
We got the balloons. There's the bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
I've got the bucket. And the balloons. Buckets and balloons.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Let's go, bucket.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
Right.
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Come on, Mr. Bucket. Let's go.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
We're escaping.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
Me and Bucket are getting out of here.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Oh, I remember this.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death. It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold. Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Inferno Bucket. Stress Bucket. Cave drawing.
No man
Ooga
can
booga
own
bucket.
a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
I took the bucket.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision for...
It reloaded. I was just curious if it was actually going to do anything. Alright.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
$424, $421.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
All right, come on, bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd come into a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Oh, there was one of those things! No! I got... There was the statue thing to collect. Shit! Now we gotta do this ending again. I wonder what happens if you get them all.
Straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
What's that one up
Everyone in
there?
the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the
Everything's
bucket
fine,
under the
bucket.
mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
All right, where's 4? I don't know where 4 is. I do not see 4. Where do I find 4? Four's got to be hidden somewhere, right? Because I don't see it. That's 5. Where the hell is 4? I don't see 4. It's got to be here, though, right? I don't know where it's at. I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I don't see it. Fuck. Wait, is that it? Hold on. Up there? How do I get up there? That's it up there. Console disabled. How do I get up there? There's got to be a way to open that door. I have no idea how to open that door, but there's got to be a way. Damn it, I have no clue. I don't remember. I know there's a way to do it. I guess I'm just gonna have to keep going. I don't know. Yeah, I can't open it. I have no idea. Fuck. I have no idea how to turn that on.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I gotta get that other figure.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Cool. Alright, am I stuck going down the elevator? Yeah, it looks like it.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter, his one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends. Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
I don't know.
Yes, they had done it.
Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
The door broke.
Wait, what was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley
Should have
can't
thrown the
leave
bucket
this
out.
place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
I love that just taking the bucket with you. What the fuck?
Warmth spread through
This is
Stanley's
different
arms.
already.
With the bucket in his arms again,
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I don't know which one to go in. This is such a different beginning. I don't know.
this was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I haven't been down here yet in this playthrough.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
I'll stay in the broom closet.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
I remember this.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and... Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
Goodbye.
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Goodbye, Bucket Destroyer. Oh, I can't do that one
Someone was
again.
following Stanley. He was sure of it.
What?
If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
No one's following me. Is this new too? I don't remember this. Meeting today in the meeting room? What? Figure finders? Figure finders.
Stanley picked up the
me
bucket,
the bucket.
and smiled. He'd never be alone again. Not
Dude, this
truly
game,
alone. Not with the bucket.
this is brilliant.
Stanley
I mean,
clutched the bucket
fucking
tightly
brilliant.
to his chest and entered the door on his
Davey and William, they're fucking genius, man. I love these guys. How can we find them? Bottom text. Maybe we are the collectibles. Shut the frick up. Small floating objects have appeared across the office. There was no memo from management. What makes them float in the air? Who took these pictures of them? That one's in a toilet. Follow clues provided by employee 416. Red room. $416. Dark area behind a very warm place. 416. Alright, dark area behind a really warm place, 416. A large room with lots of boxes, somewhere both red and blue. A private but smelly place for an important person.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years.
All right, we'll leave the broom closet for later.
Coming
All
to
right.
the staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked
We need to
upstairs
find the
the
boss's
boss's
bathroom.
office.
I don't actually know how to get into it. Executive bathroom. Here we go. There he is.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
All right, the door's still open to go down. Oh, now it's not. Now we're committed. Where's this go? It's a long ride. Wow. I think we're just stuck in here. What? What the hell? Does it not go anywhere? Stanley. I'm worried that it's not actually going anywhere. Because it was kind of weird. We hit up and then we were right there. Right? So it's like it's not going anywhere. Yeah, you hit any button, it lets you off immediately. That's so weird. I don't want to go through with the rest of this now, because I'm pretty sure we've already done it.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
All right, we're gonna begin the game again, because I don't want to do that ending again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps the good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together.
Hey, it said follow the clues from 416.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket?
I don't know.
This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game, it could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Nice. All right. Well, we need to take another break here because we've recorded for about an hour. But so far, holy shit, this is good. I am stoked with everything they've done with this game. It's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So anyway, yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, tell that like button you want to smash. And don't forget to subscribe. You stay you. I'll stay me. Droogie forever. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. I really... Oh, excuse me. I can't breathe. I really appreciate it. You stay you. I'll stay me. Droogie forever. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I got through it. I'll see you in the next video. Later.